just a little. Hi, happy Wednesday, everyone. I was getting ready to prep some soup, so I thought I'd take you along on my journey. I've been kind of quiet lately. I've been recovering from a respiratory infection that I got back in May, and the cough just never would go away. So I'm finally feeling better with some medicine. The cough hopefully is done and gone. It's been about a week and a half since I've coughed. So today we're going to make our favorite, one of our favorites when we were working, the whole chicken enchilada soup. The recipe that I used was on Hungry Girl, but when I followed my link, it didn't work. So I found the same one on Spark People. So we're going to use the Spark People recipe because it looks like it was the same. First thing it calls for is 3 cups of chicken broth. And I went ahead and mixed that up. This is Epicure. We call it Nourish broth, not chicken broth. It's got only 85 milligrams of sodium. So if you're watching your sodium, this is a good one. So we're going to put this in our pot, and I cook across from me, so if I step out of frame, that's what it's for. Maybe I can turn it just, oh, you're not going to be able to see. There's the stove right there. We'll move it around as we go. So first we're going to add the chicken broth to the pot, and I turn the pot on. So, and I mix things in mason jars just because I have them, and it's easier because you just put the lid on and shake it, and it goes. So that was about 3 cups that I put in there, so that's ready to go. And then it calls for 1.25 cups of chopped celery. I found celery in my freezer, and it looks like it's maybe closer to 2 cups. So that's the beauty about soup, is that you can adjust the quantities how you want it. So we're just going to throw that in there. I did buy celery to put in the soup, but I didn't realize that I had it in the freezer. So we're going to use that. And then I also saw that I had some orange bell pepper. Doesn't call for it in the recipe, but again, you can just go ahead and just toss it in there. So we're going to wait for this to boil and for these vegetables to defrost. While I'm doing that, I'm going to cut up about 1/2 onion to put in it, and so it tells us to, we're going to put the pot, bring the broth to low boil, and then add the celery, onion, and simmer for about 5 minutes. So it'll be a little longer because we have frozen vegetables, and that's okay. We're not in a hurry. It's only 3 o'clock here, but I like my soups to sit so that the flavors can kind of all join and meld together. And my son Brian and Anna had a good idea where they don't like chunky soup, so they put all kinds of different vegetables in it, and then they blend it, and then blend the vegetables up so they don't taste it, which is good for kids because you can just throw in any kind of vegetables, and all the kids are drinking having is the soup base and whatever protein you're doing, meat or have you. But I'm not going to do that, but if you have kids, it's a good idea to get those veggies in. And I'm just going to do a rough chop. I'm not a great chopper. It's not my favorite thing to do. I always liked when my mom came to visit because she would chop stuff up like really, really fine. And so she would do all my chopping for me. So yeah, so we're going to just do the onion. And I'm going to wait to put the onion in until the broth starts boiling. So I also have a food chopper attachment on my blender, but sometimes I think it's just easier just to, instead of dragging out all the different appliances, just to chop it the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you get big chunks that you don't like, you can either just throw them back in the broth or spit them out in your bowl. Okay. So there's the onion. We have the broth going. And then once the broth is done, we're going to add 2 cans of green enchilada sauce. I have them open, so we're going to just carefully show that, and a can of pumpkin. which is another great thing to add if you have kids. Pumpkin, it's got all your good vitamins. It's 0 fat, 0 cholesterol, only 5 milligrams of sodium and 10 milligrams of carbohydrates. So this is another good way to get some vegetables in your soup. Hi, Becky. So while we're waiting for that to all steam and boil, I'll just keep an eye on that. I printed some of the August promotions. Lose my train of thought here. So for our August, we have a new 30-day What's for Dinner collection. And these all come with recipe guides, and they come with grocery list, which is so helpful, especially if you're busy. You know, who has time to, you know, have to sit and do all that? I have the time to do it. I've always done it. So for me, it's not a problem, but I do recognize if you're working full time and you have your kids, it is kind of daunting to have to do a grocery list. So let's talk about, I pulled some of the packs that I have. I don't have this whole collection, but I do have some of the meal selections that come with it. And I'm always find that if you see the package, it's a lot easier than me just showing the paper. So I pulled what they had. Oh, I forgot one thing that I saw that was on there, and that was this one. Okay, so let's do the jars first. So one of the jars is rosemary garlic. I like to use this in pasta soups, and you can use it in your sauce. You can use it on chicken, on pork, on lamb, grilled or roast vegetables. I like rosemary and I like garlic a lot, so this one is a popular one for us. This What's for Dinner collection August also comes with balsamic vinaigrette, which is good. I make this a lot and I use it for marinades, also salads and that sort of thing. Okay, some of the packets that I have. Pulled chicken. This one makes 16 servings. So this is like the pulled pork. If you get this one, and you don't have a big family or a lot of eaters, you can divide it in half. In fact, that's what we do, is we divide this in half. Good flavor, good flavor. Crispy lettuce wraps. You can use ground pork, ground beef, ground turkey. You can use tofu. And this is another one that you can microwave, and it would be done. It kind of reminds me of Panda Inn, their lettuce wraps. Alfredo, which is always a favorite for this one. And you can make pasta Alfredo, you can make chicken, shrimp. But remember, these collections all come with planned out recipes and grocery lists. I'm just telling you what on the back it says. Taco. This is taco that will make a sauce, not so much like the jar of taco seasoning that will season your meat. This will actually give you a little bit of sauce for your tacos. This is a favorite. General Tso, and this one, I saw that there's a recipe in the digital plan that isn't using this the way the package says. So that intrigued me that I may want to try that one. Classic meatloaf, which you can make meatloaf with a rectangle steamer in under 10 minutes. That's including mixing and cooking in the microwave. This one is such a fast, easy dinner. Some mashed potatoes and green beans, peas, whatever, vegetables, even if it's canned, it's still vegetables. That's another good one. Classic meatloaf. This is one of my favorites. And then buttered chicken. And I haven't tried this, but again, I saw some recipes for the buttered chicken that may intrigue me to try it. So those are the packets that I have that show in the kit. It also comes with honey garlic meatball seasoning. That was one that came out that got really high ratings. It's great. It also comes with cha-cha chili. I saw a recipe in the digital planner that uses the chili for something different than what it's intended. Pad Thai, simply battered baked beans, Thai red curry. All come in this. So how great would it be for 30 days? You don't have to think about grocery lists. You don't have to think about menus. And it's only $89.95. And you have your whole month. All you need to provide is some vegetables and protein. And your whole month is set out for you. that's great, especially with back to school and going back to school and not virtual learning for some. Sports are starting, so you know we all do these in raw to ready in 20 minutes. So think about those late night soccer nights when you're just too busy. Throw in some taco meat or do a meatloaf for 10 minutes. You can have a quick dinner either before or right after they get back from sports. So those are also good ones. And then I want to talk about our new purchase and purchase. This is our Dolce Vita Latte Mix, and you can purchase it for $12.95. You need to purchase $25 in other products to be able to buy this. I'm a latte fan. Starbucks vanilla latte is, you know, if I'm going, that's what I'm getting. And this is, it says you can mix 1 heaping tablespoon of mix into a half a cup of hot water. You can mix it with milk. You can make ice cubes out of it. And I looked this up for someone else in our group, and it is kosher and non-dairy. So if that's something that is a dietary need for you, just know that this is it. So I think I'm going to get this one because it sounds good. And coming into fall, to have a latte, and I'm even thinking that I want to try the vanilla protein to make shakes in the morning, and I'm wondering how this would be if it's anything similar to the old days. Slim Fast cans had cappuccino that were really good, and I'm thinking maybe I could recreate that with that. So I'll have to maybe give it a try. And then speaking of ice cubes, if you host in August, our Ice Baby is our host gift, and you save 40%, and it comes with summer berry chocolate mud pie. That's for August. If you book a party in August, you're able to purchase these. Mud pie and summer berry, you know, those are no-brainers. Think about doing yogurt in here or little mud pies in this, and this ice tray comes with a lid, so that's really great too. Let me just check our soup. Okay, and it's getting hot. I can hear it melting. So let me just throw in the onions real quick while we're chatting. Okay. Some onions. So we'll let those simmer for about 5 minutes on those. All right. Okay, so we did August is Ice Baby collection. And then for September, the host gift is the mini bundt cake collections. Now let me tell you, I have regular bundt pans that I love, Nordic ware. But how cool is it to make these little bunts? And then in the gift, if you host in September, you get the mini bundt cake mold, plus you get carrot cake and sweet banana. Can you imagine making little mini bunts of those? That sounds really good. So if you're interested in hosting for either August or September, just send me a quick message and we can schedule a date and get that set up for you. Other than that, there was something else that I thought I didn't print, but I wanted to talk about. Oh, that there's a back to school summer collection that has treats. Those mini bundt pans would be great for that. Or you could use the little muffin maker pans to make school box treats. So that's happening as well. Okay, so now we're going to get back to our soup. So we have the celery, chicken broth, and onion all boiling in there. And now we're going to stir in the enchilada sauce and the pumpkin. So let me just shift this way. So come on this counter so you can see, and then let me just point it down. This is where my stove is at. Okay, so there we go. We have that cooking there. Let's turn that down a little bit. All right, I'm gonna turn our pot down just a little, because like I said, it's early for us. It's just a little over 3 o'clock. But I want this to mix together. So there's 1 can of the green enchilada sauce. And I always use generic if I'm making a recipe that mixes stuff together. I don't worry too much about buying named brands if it's just all going to be mixed in a recipe. Because I think it has so many different flavors that you don't need to. Okay, so we're going to mix that. And then it calls for the pumpkin. Okay, so, and this one is a weird one, right? You wouldn't think, you do not taste the pumpkin in this soup at all. You taste chicken enchilada is what you taste. So the pumpkin just gives you some extra boost of some veggies. And we'll get it all out here. I always thought it was strange. And you know, in California, the pumpkin was seasonal. So I always used to have to stock up on the pumpkin come Thanksgiving time to be able to get the pumpkin. But here, we found it in the baking aisle. So it seems like we're okay. All right, so that's done. Let me just stir that together. And then it calls for frozen corn as well. I don't have frozen corn. I thought I did, but I don't. But I have canned corn. So right before serving it, I'm going to add cilantro, and I'm going to add the canned corn because all it needs to do is heat up. So we want to stir this, and we want to give it a little taste and see if we need some salt. Also, I'm going to add, let me get this added in. You've heard me talk about the feisty green sauce. So I'm going to just add a tablespoon, and this will give it just a little bit of the jalapeno flavor in there. So we'll just add just one tablespoon so I don't mix it in there. Okay. So let's let that sit for a minute, and then I'll come back and taste it and see what we need. But I always think, since it's like a Mexican soup kind of thing, that the feisty green would go well. Now let me get a tasting spoon. Let's see how this tastes. See, and it's thick how it coats the spoon, so it's a little thick. Tastes good, but it needs a little bit of salt. So we'll use sea salt. I don't know, just a little bit. You can also get your salt by using crackers if you have them, to add the little bit of salt that you may need. I'm going to also add some black pepper. I really like these grinder bottles, and we sell refills. So just nothing better than fresh salt and fresh pepper that's ground. Okay. Let me give it a try and see how it is. So this is where you would add your protein if you didn't use chicken. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's move back over here because I have the chicken. So the other day I made rotisserie chicken, and we ate all of the dark meat, and then I kept the breast, and it's way more than 10 ounces that the recipe calls for, but that's okay. And I'm actually going to use my scissors because I plan on cooking this for a while. I'm just going to cut the breast in big pieces because I think that once it cooks, it'll all be shredded, and this one's too big. So let's just take it out like this. We've come to discover that we really, really just like dark meat. The breast is okay, and we usually buy like flash frozen chicken to use just because it's easier. And we've been buying boneless, skinless thighs. So it's not a surprise that when we have a whole chicken, that we save the breast and use it in something else. And again, I'm just chopping these kind of big because it's going to sit in the soup. So it's going to shred. And if I want to shred it more, I can just stick my little stick blender in there and get it off. Okay. Yeah, see, that's way more than 10 ounces. But that's okay. If we have, that's what I like about soup, is that you can just add anything. You can stretch it as far as you want, or make as little as you want. So we're just going to dump this in here and stir it around. I'm going to put a lid on it, and then I'll come back and we'll add the corn and the cilantro at the end once it's all cooked. I'm going to actually stick it on low, covered, so you can see. Let me go over this way so you can take a look. And set this down like this. So that made a full pot of soup. So that should be dinner for tonight. Plus it should give us leftovers for lunch or to stick in the freezer. Either way. We used to always eat soup at lunchtime. We used to make a new soup every week. So it doesn't surprise me that we're having it for a dinner, even though it's super hot outside. So that's it. That is the whole enchilada chicken soup. I'll actually put the recipe in so you can find it on my Pinterest. And if you don't follow me on my Pinterest, go ahead and give me a follow there. I have recipes, I have designs, I have a little bit of everything over there. So I hope you guys are having a great day. If you have any questions about the August What's for Dinner or the hostess gifts for August or September, please let me know. We can chat about it and maybe get you some free product. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.